you and I have talked about raising the cattle and the farm, and we chit chatted a little bit back and forth on Instagram because I raise cows as well. How do you find time to train for a fight at the highest level and continue to, because you're so hands-on? Like, I got people that help me do some of the cattle stuff. How do you find time to do both? Like, train for a fight at a high level and continue to build this farm, and you're building furniture sometimes, and you got the trees, and you're a busy man.
I definitely stay busy, but my wife is my number one helper right now. She's watching all the animals, and when she comes into town for the fights, I have to hire people to watch my place for me. So, but really, it's just me and my wife right now, and we're doing it all, brother. And I'm by no means a professional, and I by no means maximize my production. I'm not even close, but I got 19 head of cattle, and we had a really, really good group of newborns, group of calves born this year. So had like 6 or 7 calves born this year. So it's been really good. And my next thing we're going to get into after this fight, I'm getting a milk cow. It's illegal to sell raw milk. It's so piss poor. We can't even have actual food in this country anymore legally. So me and my wife are getting a milk cow. We're going to have raw milk. We're going to barter with the neighbors and things like that. But, raw milk is illegal. But the reason raw milk is illegal is because the government doesn't want you having healthy food. They want to kill us. And the milk at the store, it's all pasteurized. When you pasteurize milk, it denatures the protein and devalues the nutritional quality. And I'm tired of all this shit, and I'm getting a milk cow.
Hey, no, well, good for you, because you answered my question. I was going to say why. I wasn't aware that natural milk was illegal. I had no idea. Or raw milk, should I say. And that is crazy, for one. Why on earth would that be illegal? But you touch on something now. I mean, it sounds like I'm having a go at America. I live here. But the American, or should we say the Western, I think that's a better way of putting it, the Western diet. I mean, it is goddamn awful. And as you said, they're trying to kill us. I don't know if they're really trying to kill us, but it will kill you. That's for damn sure. The shit in food out here is just wild.
Well, the first thing you got to do if you're fighting an enemy is accept that you're fighting an enemy. And I got to accept they are trying to kill us. You look at the vaccines, you look at the food, you look at everything from our music. It's demonic, man. So everything with our culture is bad, starting with our food. Now, if we want to talk about the number one problem with the American food, it's not necessarily the raw milk issue. That's just a huge problem. Raw milk should be legal. Pasteurized milk should be illegal. But the number one problem we have in American farming, from what I've seen and what little knowledge I have, is definitely Roundup being sprayed on our corn. Everybody that farms this corn sprays Roundup on it, and I promise you, on my life, on my family, and I promise to God that I will never spray Roundup on my corn. And it just makes me so mad. So when you're growing corn, you can't grow corn back to back to back.
Right, you got to rotate it.
You have to rotate it because it pulls too much nitrogen. So they'll grow soybeans in the next season. So it'll be corn, soybeans, just back and forth forever. Well, the problem is it uses too much nitrogen, and there's you have to use pesticides. So what they use on corn is Roundup, which will kill you, and what they use on soybeans is gramoxin, and that shit will kill you. Hey, let me tell you how dangerous gramoxin is, Bisping. If I had a gallon of gramoxin here in the car with me, and I got pulled over by an officer, and he said, "Hey, what's in that jug?" and they searched me, they take me to prison because I don't have a license to transport gramoxin. You have to have a license to transport it because it's so fucking deadly. It can be used as a terroristic weapon, and we use it on our farmland. It's insane. And so let me tell y'all real quick what should be done with farming. First off, raw milk should be legal. Pasteurized milk should be illegal. The Roundup should be illegal to use on corn, and gramoxin should be illegal to use on soybeans. Now, what would happen is you wouldn't see the mass production of genetically modified corn and the mass production of genetically modified soybeans. So everybody argues, the price of corn would go high. Okay, here's my counter argument. Yes, corn would go up in value. Okay, but what would also happen is the value of your corn would go up. The nutritional content of the corn would actually be there. Right now we're growing shit corn that's good for absolutely nothing other than animal feed. Okay, it's not even quality feed for humans. Now, what they don't want to tell you is if you made Roundup on corn illegal and gramoxin on soybeans illegal, every other damn thing in the store would go down in price. Your steak would be cheaper, your eggs would be cheaper, your pork would be cheaper, your lamb would be cheaper, your tomatoes, watermelon, squash.
Talking pumpkins. Bryce Mitchell for president. That's what I'm talking about.
Let me tell you why everything would be cheaper, because right now more than half of our farmland is occupied by genetically modified Roundup corn. If that was illegal, it would turn back into grasslands. You would get more cows. You would get more
half
chicken.
Of it, probably.
More than half of our farmland is all genetically modified corn. Okay? And I'm telling you, if you made that shit illegal, like it's ethically the right thing to do, if you took out Roundup out of our food supply, which should be done for sure. There should be a law saying you cannot spray Roundup on corn because it's linked to so many cancers. It'll just kill you. But if they did that, steak would be cheaper, milk would be cheaper, eggs would be cheaper, bacon would be cheaper. Every other thing in the fucking store would go down in value because we'd have more available farmland. And the market would adjust accordingly. We'd live healthier lives.
I definitely agree. I did. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say for anyone that's not maybe in the UK, I'm not sure if we call it Roundup or whatever, but basically that's a pesticide, right? Roundup?
Glyphosate or glyphosate. It's pronounced one of the two. I don't even know the technical word for it because I don't care. I'll never use it. It's against my moral standard of living.
Well,
I have something called ethics.
We'd definitely be healthier if we got rid of a lot of that stuff, which is also probably why my cows grow slower than everyone else's, because I'm not doing anything else to modify that whole process.
They're not on the Vitor Belfort diet.
No, it's 100% grass fed. They just don't grow as fast, so they take longer. But when you take that to a large scale, people can't make money, so they got to speed that process up. But
they're money hungry fools, brother. All they care about is
one of them.
How much their cows weigh. I don't give a shit how much my cows weigh. I don't want to feed them Roundup.
That shit tastes good though. Mine tastes good though.
I don't know about Roundup.
To turn this to MMA, I have a question.
No. I want to talk more about the farming culture.
Oh, I could do this. Honestly, I could do this with Bryce back and forth for like the next 2 hours. I love this conversation, but I seen you working on the farm and you have that yellow shit or that purple shit that was on your neck. And then it wasn't long after that, you ended up having to pull out of that fight. Is that from something that happened while you were working? And is that shit they put on the horses?
Yeah, that's cattle spray, bro. That's ringworm spray you put on your cows. I had ringworms, so I was spraying my shit with cattle spray. But it works on, it's for animals, but it works even better on you.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, then it was shortly, people were posting pictures and you were working, you had, like a tree on your shoulder or something and it's all purple. And I had a pretty good idea what it was, but a lot of people that,
blue coat.
Yeah.
Blue coat. Yeah. So, it's cattle sprays for cows.
So how'd you hurt yourself? What was the injury? And they seemed like it was pretty close to the fight too.
Well, I've still got a disc problem in my back. I got 40% left in one disc. And
oh shit.
If I'm not doing my stretching therapy, my hot cold tubs and stuff like that, I just have to work around this injury. But it's an injury that won't go away, but also it won't flare up if nothing happens. Like for example, if I just go out, I used to run like 10 miles in cowboy boots, that's because I thought it would make your legs stronger. So I'd literally run 10 miles in cowboy boots. And then
crazy.
And then my back would lock up. And the doctor told me, you can't be running in boots no more. You can't, I can't do squats. I used to put shit on my back and carry it around. I can't carry shit on my back. I can carry stuff, but I have to lift it up with my hands. I can't put it on my back.
Right.
So I can't do squats. I can't run in cowboy boots. I have to do yoga now. I used to think yoga was gay. Yoga's not gay. Okay. You can fucking do yoga.
It might be a little gay. So we were talking before, Bryce, because you're absolutely right. When it comes to the stretching side of things, because I've got back issues as well. But when I stretch a lot, and then sometimes, because I take about 20 minutes after most workouts, I have a really, really good full body stretch. And when I do that, I'm generally not in pain. But on the days that I don't, I tighten up, and then throughout the day, it just gets worse and worse and worse. So the stretching, all you youngsters out there, make sure you're stretching. Bryce, we're going to ask you about your fight in a second. I do want to get to that. But I want to ask you about this, what we spoke about very, very briefly at the fighter meetings earlier today. And thank you for your time, by the way. I know you got a big fight this weekend. No, but thank you, Bryce. So elaborate on this. Saturday, September 23rd, the world is going to end.
Well, that's not really biblical at all, because in the Bible and Revelations, it says no man knows the day nor hour. And it's talking about, the Armageddon. So, but what you can expect, what is biblical, is that there's astrological events that have been predicted for thousands and thousands of years, and they are for sure happening on September 23rd. You can go to YouTube and look at what's happening in the constellations. Now, the reason that the Bible was so vague about what was going on exactly and why they used constellations to mark it is because, first off, when Revelations was wrote, John was trying to encode a secret message to other Jews at the time. And they didn't want these messages intercepted. So he couldn't just use everyday vocabulary. He didn't want the enemy to be able to decode the message. Also, he knew that these stars were going to be around. And so that, he used the stars as a symbolism of a change in history. And what's going on is, I'm not an astrologist. I haven't even read the Bible enough to really understand what's going on, but I do know that exactly what's happening. There's a meteor passing through a certain area that the Bible predicted. And the constellation is called Virgos. And the Virgos is a constellation of a woman. And the meteor is going right through the belly of that woman. It symbolizes
penetrating the woman.
Exactly. And
sexual astrology.
Yes, well, it symbolizes the child going out. It's a child going out. It's the depenetration.
The depenetration. Hey, maybe it's a man having a baby.
It's 2023, Michael Bisping. You better watch
Anything's
out.
Possible, guys.
And so, what I don't believe is that the world just ends and Jesus comes back. But what I do believe is that it's a mark of a change. And that is in conjunction with things like the Euphrates River drying up. These are signs that Christians have to prepare themselves for the rapture. Now, Revelation was not to scare us. It was to prepare us. And God is giving us signs that we are living in the time of Revelation. The Euphrates River is dry. This meteor is passing through the constellation Virgos. It symbolizes the birth of a child. That's supposed to be in conjunction with Satan's army falling back to earth and the rise of the Antichrist. So I personally believe that just the world is just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And I believe in a rapture. And now, if you don't believe in a rapture, it's okay. I don't hate you. I don't think you're stupid or nothing. But what I want to tell you is I firmly believe it's going to happen. It's in 2 Thessalonians is where the rapture is mentioned. But what's going to happen, I believe, is that all the Christians ascend to heaven. And God does that because the suffering on earth is going to get so damn bad that he doesn't even want us to take part in it. Now, what's going to happen? Now, really, the rapture don't matter for Christians. They're protected. So it's not like I'm worried about what's going to happen to me. What I'm telling everybody who don't believe me is that if you see all your Christian buddies disappear, when you turn on the TV, they're going to immediately program you to believe that aliens have abducted us all. And if you ever see
they were found in Mexico.
Yeah, that's all bullshit. What they're doing is they're programming you to believe that aliens are responsible for this spiritual battle that's going to take place on this earth.
Is that what you think all this alien talk has been like the last handful of months?
I don't think I know. They're trying to get the world's population to believe that there's aliens. So when the rapture takes place, they won't blame it on God. They won't say all the Christians are disappeared. The Christian won't even be a word. They'll start burning Bibles. Okay? They will say that aliens abducted a third of the world's population. And so that's what I believe that we're heading towards. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's not in our generation. But what we do know is September 23rd, that meteors passing through Virgos, and that the Euphrates River is dry. And so that was wrote 1900 years ago by a guy named John. How in the hell did he know that the Euphrates River was going to be dry? I personally believe he knew that because it's the inspired word of God. He also predicted that the Euphrates would dry specifically for an army of 200 million to march from the east to the west across that dry riverbed. Now, when John wrote that 1900 years ago, there wasn't 200 million people on the planet. So everybody made fun of him. Everybody thought he was a nut. Well, now China has an army of 200 million, just like John said in the Bible, and the Euphrates River is dry, just like John said in the Bible. So Jesus Christ, please bless me, cover me in the blood of Jesus Christ. And anybody that has not accepted Jesus in their heart yet, it's never too late. I lived the atheist life for 10 years, and just like that, you can be a worshiper of God.
So
go ahead,
let me just jump
ahead,
in there,
go ahead,
Anthony. I apologize. And you said a lot of stuff there, so there's a lot to unpack. But I think if I didn't say this, and I'm not being disrespectful, Bryce, I'm really not. I respect your opinion and I respect your beliefs. But if I didn't say this, then some people would say I'm a hypocrite or whatever. I was raised and christened as a Catholic, but I'm not a religious man. I don't believe in God. Okay, and I respect everyone's beliefs, but I just don't feel it. Do you know what I'm saying? But everyone, I joke around and I get a little bit silly. That's just kind of my brand. But I do respect everyone's beliefs. But you're saying, though, because I was baptized, I'm fucking getting a one-way ticket anyway. So I'm all good.
Well, some people believe that baptism will secure you a place in heaven. I personally don't subscribe to that because I was baptized.
That's a no, Mike. That's a no.
Shit.
You're fucked.
Well,
I thought I was going to sin
is,
like a motherfucker. I'm part of the gang.
Well, being a Christian don't mean you don't sin. That means that
I'll be forgiven.
That you're forgiven for your sins once you accept that they're sins, and that sin leads to destruction. So me, my biggest sin was always chasing promiscuous women, and then I ran into a witch. I was literally.
We've all done that.
Is this the girl with the trees?
Is
this the girl with the trees?
A literal witch, a woman who was practicing witchcraft.
Oh.
And I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in the devil.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
And so when you're talking to a possessed person, it's very clear they're possessed. In my case, the woman was speaking in tongues, and she was behaving demonically. She was no longer speaking in English. She was speaking to a wall. She was being very abusive and destroying things at my property. And she was speaking in a demonic tongue. She was not speaking English. So then, because I was raised in a Christian household, I knew that Jesus was the only chance that I had. And I said, Jesus Christ, in the name of Jesus Christ, if there's anything evil, I command it to leave. And the possessed woman left my home. And so that's how I came to Christ, is through darkness. Not because I'm such a great Christian and don't sin, brother. I was straight going to hell. And I spoke the name of Jesus and got my freedom back. And if you don't believe in witchcraft and possessions, it's because you just ain't seen one. Because I can promise you right here, I've seen a possessed woman. I've seen darkness. And it's very clear when you're dealing with somebody possessed. And there was one more thing that I was going with this. Oh, okay. Well, shit, I forgot it.
Okay. Sound like Harry.
But basically, man, I gave my life to Christ because I was living such a dark life. And here's where I wanted to go with this, Bisping. Here's where I want to go with this. And you don't have to elaborate or anything. Do you believe that we evolved from monkeys? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Bullshit! It's bullshit! It's bullshit! It's a lie from Satan! It's a lie from Satan, brother! You have been tricked! You have been deceived! We are not coming from monkeys! We are the apex predators! We are we are made in the image of God! Where is there a half monkey, half man? Because look, dogs come from wolves. Look, dogs come from wolves.
They do.
And we have half dogs and half wolves. We can look at dogs and see how they came from wolves. There is no half man, half monkey. There never will be. We have different DNA than fucking monkeys, brother. We did not come from monkeys.
Actually, if you look at a gorilla, they're about 97% the same DNA as a human, or something very similar to that.
And they also throw shit and eat shit. We are not monkeys, brother. We are not monkeys.
I know.
I used to live the
we
life.
Evolved.
I know what you're thinking, brother.
Hold on, ask Anthony. Anthony, do you believe we came from monkeys?
I don't. I was raised in the church. I don't believe that. But I don't. I'm just saying I don't. I don't.
You're so full of shit.
We did not come from monkeys, brother.
Okay,
we did not
Bryce,
come from monkeys.
let me ask this. How did you go from a life? How did you go from a life of like you said, live in sin, and then you meet this woman and it changes your life essentially, right? To live in this totally different life and then ending up on like Republican television, like you're like,
oh yeah,
I'm like flipping through the channels on like Hannity. I'm like, what the fuck is Bryce Mitchell doing there?
I'm a trailer trash loser from Arkansas is what I am, and I want to make it clear, Anthony. There is one reason that I got on Tucker Carlson and got 100 million views, because the power of Jesus Christ. If you think that God didn't have a reason for me to get on Tucker Carlson and God wasn't behind that, you are delusional. There is one way that a trailer trash bum like me gets on Tucker Carlson, and that's the power of God. And I'm telling you, my life is the proof of God. If you don't believe in God yourself, look at my life. Look at the things that I've done. As soon as I got done with the witch, I prayed for a wife. I have a wife now. What can I tell you, brother? God has been great to me. And all my sins, I ended up having to pay for, and I'm still paying for. You don't ever get away with anything from God. But what you get is that you get to inherit the kingdom of heaven. You get to see all your family again.
All right, guys, let's talk about a new sponsor, Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? Well, Prize Picks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and they are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. So instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you just pick more or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. Like so, for example, in the football world this weekend, Justin Jefferson, more or less than 100 yards, and Lamar Jackson for more or less than 1 passing touchdown. I'll get you started. Justin Jefferson, less than 100 yards. There you go. Bish, bash, bosh. And Lamar Jackson, I'm going to say more than 1 passing touchdown. If they're correct, I win. Prize Picks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday every Tuesday. Prize Picks offers weekly promotions that lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. Prize Picks now also offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Also, they got UFC examples. Like this isn't a bet, but it might be something like, the main event this weekend, Mateusz Gamrot, more or less than 6 takedowns. You get the idea. It's a really fun game, and it's a new, interesting way to get involved with daily fantasy sport. All right, so go to prizepicks.com/believe. Use the code BELIEVE for a first deposit match up to $100. That is prizepicks.com/believe. Use the code BELIEVE for a first deposit match up to $100. Where I'm from, and this is true, if you look it up, Pendle Witches, it's very, very well known for witches. It's famous for it. And every Halloween, there's thousands of people come from all over the place, literally in the town where I'm from. And my wife, she's not religious. She dresses in black all the time. She's probably, she commits a lot of sins. Am I married to a witch? Because she fucking speaks in tongues.
Well,
she makes my life misery.
Does she perform rituals?
Her ritual, she got to have a glass of wine every night.
Well, I'm talking about blood sacrifices and candles lit and things like that. Then she's not a true witch.
She does like a candle, though. She definitely lights the candles at night.
Well,
just say that she's a fucking witch, so I can throw her out.
He just wants to show her you saying it. That's what he wants.
Brother,
exactly.
Brother, if you was with a witch, you would know it. Your life would be destroyed. You wouldn't be happily married.
No, I know, Bryce, and we're having a little bit of fun, but also I do respect what you're saying. But we're having a bit of fun
we didn't come from monkeys, and I love you so much. I'll sit here. I'll prove you wrong all day. You have every single person that says they found an archaeological piece of evidence that we come from monkeys. They're all fraudulent. There is no evidence, brother. We were created in the image of God instantaneously. We don't have to understand the word. I guess you believe in the Big Bang too.
Well, I don't know if I do believe in the Big Bang. I don't know enough about it, but certainly that people that are way smarter than me and people like Albert Einstein and so on and so forth and great scientific minds that generated everything that we see, the technology that we are communicating with one another, the cell phones, the lights, the radio, spaceships, airplanes. Very, very, very smart people. If it was up to me, I'd still be living in a cave, clubbing my wife. Do you know what I mean? Say, you're a fucking witch. I know it. You're a witch. And these people say these theories. All right, whatever. I'll go along with it. Do you know what I mean? My little dumb ass can't figure that out. So I don't know. Well, that's the narrative. I'll take it.
I don't know either, but there is some stuff I do know. Let me tell you something I do know. It's also going to blow your mind. Now, first I got to preface this by saying you probably don't believe in God because you say there is not evidence. Okay.
No.
First off, there is, and I could show you evidence. It'd take me about 5 hours worth of talking to you. But second off, what I want to tell you, brother, is this is how much we've been lied to in science. You put your faith in science. Let me tell you something right now, Bisping. Gravity ain't real. You know what?
Sorry.
I've actually seen
Gravity ain't real. You want to tell me you don't believe in God because there's no evidence? Give me the proof of gravity. You know why things drop to the ground? Because of density, brother. Oh yeah, you drop something and it falls down. Well, that's real cute. What if you do it with the helium balloon?
Well, it's got helium in it. It's got helium. That was caused it to go up.
But helium has mass. I thought gravity worked on mass. How come the helium doesn't go down?
Hold on, and airplanes are very heavy.
I've seen this on Bryce's.
That's crazy.
I seen this on his Instagram, and I was like, he might be right.
The Earth is flat. We live in a dome. There is no gravity.
All right. Oh, flat Earth. Because we can go on about this all day. And I do want to get to your fight in a second. And I appreciate your time, Bryce. And we're having a fun discourse. And thank you very much. And I do respect your beliefs. I do. I really do. But I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't sit here and be true to myself. And I'm hoping there's zero offense, mate.
It's same here. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. I'm loving it. And Anthony, feel free to jump in because I'm
honestly, I'm trying not to be like a spectator because I'm just enjoying this conversation so much.
I asked my wife's brother, the witch. Her brother is a pilot. He's a captain for Qantas Airways.
They never dropped the nose of their plane.
And
never dropped the nose.
I asked Daniel Sidwick, shout out Daniel. I said, Daniel, just out of curiosity, if you were debating a flat earther and they said that the earth is flat and it's not circular or a globe, it's spherical.
It's spherical. That's the word. Spherical.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
What would you say to them? And his response was verbatim, well, I've seen it, mate. Because he flies the plane so high up, he can see the curvature of the globe and the world and the earth, and he can see it. He can see it with his own eyes. And I will add this, and I'll hand the baton to yourself.
And then
if you go that way, if you go that way, right, that way, eventually you come back the other. You go around. I just went to Singapore. I carried on the same direction. I went to Paris. I carried on the same direction, and I came back home. I didn't jet off into outer space. I'd be in Mars by now, looking for Elon Musk and in SpaceX. I'm like, fuck hell, turn around. I'm heading towards the sun.
That's your problem. You trust Elon Musk, okay?
I don't.
Let me tell you.
Elon's my god.
On a flat Earth, there is still a north-south. And I'm sorry, there is still a north, south, east, and west. Okay?
Yeah.
So just because I believe in flat Earth doesn't mean I don't believe in east and west. Now, the reason that he appears to see a curve is because the windshield is curve.
All right.
Did you ever think about that?
Hold on. You've seen this. And if anyone hasn't seen this, Google what I'm talking about. You must have seen these very passionate flat earthers, and they did an experiment to prove the earth was flat. But then when they did it, they proved the earth was a spherical object.
Right. They were looking through two different lenses, right?
I don't even watch those videos because they're all bullshit. Let me tell you something, Bisping. Your brother-in-law, he ain't flown a foot higher than 40,000 feet. Unless if your brother has flown a SR-71 Blackbird, he ain't flown a foot higher than 40,000 feet. He flies commercial at 30,000 feet. You can take a GoPro on a fucking balloon at 130,000. Do you understand?
I'm laughing at the passion, that's all.
Do you understand? You can take a helium balloon and get it to 130,000 feet, 4 times higher than your brother-in-law will ever fly. And at 130,000 feet, you can see with a flat lens that the world is flat. Now, the reason he thinks he's seen a curve is because his cockpit has a curved windshield. Okay, it's called a fisheye. It's called a fisheye lens. It distorts.
Same as on a GoPro, the fisheye.
So no. If you get a GoPro, you can't have a fisheye lens. You cannot use a fisheye lens. It distorts the experiment. If you take a flat lens on a GoPro and put it on a balloon at 130,000 feet, you should literally do this experiment. You have enough money to do it.
Okay,
I don't have enough money for a GoPro.
So I have so I don't have enough money for a GoPro. Listen to this guy. So serious question though. If that's the case and the world is flat, honestly, this might be one of the only things that I don't know that Bryce talks about. I don't like this might be the one thing I disagree with. But how come no one in 2023, no one's ever made it to the edge? I think that's a lot of people's argument.
Yeah, that's
how come
a good
we've never
question.
got to the edge of that?
There's a lot of good questions, but that's a good one.
Because it's illegal. So what the flat earthers believe in is that south is Antarctica. Antarctica is not one singular continent the size of Australia. There is an ice wall that circles all of the continents. So it is actually illegal, Anthony, for me to try to prove you wrong. If I took a boat to Antarctica, I would go straight to prison. There's a treaty. It's called the Antarctica Treaty. No person on this planet. Are you
serious? That's
have you ever seen Game of Thrones?
You could research that though.
No person on this planet can go to Antarctica without all the nations coming against them and imprisoning them. The Russian government, the American government, the Chinese government, every fucking government on the planet. If you went to Antarctica and wanted to prove me wrong,
I will say,
now I fucking want to go.
Now we're going. We're in the Antarctica. We're going. Harrington, Brian, pack your bags. This is a very, 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 very small percentage of people, though, with respect, Bryce, that have this belief. You know what I mean? The general, you can say we're brainwashed. You know what I mean? But, come on, bro.
Well, okay. Now, this is why it's important, Bisping, because they've convinced us that we came from a big bang. We're floating in space, spinning in 1,000 miles an hour, and we came from monkeys.
Well, because that flies in the face of your religious beliefs, because you believe that God on the first day created the whatever. The second day said, let there be light. And the day after he thought, you know what, let's have some animals, sprinkle some fairy dust. That's what you believe. And I'll tell you what, that sounds way more batshit crazy than what I believe.
No, if you think that the most complex machine on the planet, which is the human body, was created by accident or through monkeys fucking each other, brother, you are far off.
See, my argument for evolution has always been we evolved all the way from monkeys to humans and then stopped here. Like that's always been my argument against evolution. Why did we stop if that was the case? Why did we stop at humans?
So why then, when you look at our DNA, a lot of people, like my wife, the witch, in her DNA, she is a certain percentage Neanderthal. Neanderthal was a form of modern human before we fully evolved into the Homo sapiens, which we are today. Why is there still Neanderthal DNA as a part of Homo sapien DNA? And I think I'm getting that correct. But if I'm fucking wrong, come after me in the comments.
Well, I personally don't believe that we have any Neanderthal or caveman DNA.
My wife is.
I've never seen any type of evidence to suggest that there's a transition between monkeys to humans. I've never seen a half monkey, half human, anything like that. I think that humans are completely different from monkeys. Now, for example, take dogs. Take dogs. We know that dogs came from wolves, but you can also see every bit of transition still alive on this planet. You can see a little bitty ass dog that has no wolf in it. You can see a pure wolf, and you can see everything in between. You can see half dog, half wolf, 3/4 dog, 1/4 wolf, 10% dog, 90% wolf. How come there's not 90% caveman, 10% human, 50% caveman, 50% human? Because we didn't come from cavemen. We didn't come from monkeys.
We domesticated wolves slowly but surely over time into the modern domesticated dogs that we have today. It was a slow process. Yeah.
I firmly believe that. And what I'm saying is you can see half dog, half wolf. That's still around. Where's the half man, half monkey? Where's he at?
Dead a long time ago. Throughout the period of evolution. He fucking died unless he's eternal.
No. Let me tell you why it's important to know that the earth is flat. Okay? Because
that's a great question. That's actually my next question.
I'd like to know.
Why does it matter?
This is why it matters. There's only one reason that it matters, is because when people understand the earth is flat and the sun and moon circle the earth, we don't circle it. When they understand that, they're going to understand that this is a perfect environment made for humans to have domain over every other creature, and it was created by God. When people understand the earth is flat, it's the nail in the coffin for all the atheists. It's the final nail in the coffin. Everybody will realize that this earth was created by God as an intelligent design for humans. And when people realize the earth is flat, more people will be saved than ever.
Okay. What about life? Okay, so what about life on other planets and aliens?
There is still.
Is that real? Or do you believe that that's real?
I believe that the firmament, as mentioned in Genesis, separates everything in the heavens. And so if there was going to be anything that was other than human intelligent life form, it would have to be past the ice wall. It's illegal to travel past the ice wall. And I do believe that there is land past the ice wall, just like Admiral Byrd said before they killed him. So, Admiral Byrd, it used to not be illegal to travel to Antarctica. There was a guy who did it. His name is Admiral Byrd. He served in the United States Air Force. He was a very trusty source. He never got rich. He never sold a book. He never did anything. He went on TV saying he traveled to Antarctica, went past it, and saw green pastures on the other side. Then a year later, he got killed. So what I'm telling you is there is probably land on the other side of the ice wall.
All right. So let me ask you this, Bryce. So I don't, I'll be honest. I couldn't care less whether the world's flat or a sphere, right? My motivation in life is to be a good person, to take care of my wife and my children, give them the best life possible. Whether the earth is flat or it's a sphere or a globe or there's life on Mars or whatever, I'm one man. I'm trying to live my life as much as best as possible, take care of my family that I'm responsible for and the loved ones around me, and try and be a good person. That's what I do. I couldn't care if it's flat or around, because guess what? I'm just one man. I've got no say in anything. I'm just living my simple life. But if that is the case, then what is the reason for the conspiracy? What is the reason for lying to everyone? What is the reason for them trying to convince us all that the earth is flat as opposed to a globe? Just for the sake of discussion.
So the reason that they want to lie about the shape of the earth is because once you realize that the earth is flat, you'll realize that Genesis is correct. This earth is covered by something called a firmament. Genesis mentions the firmament. And Satan has come up with this lie, the lie of evolution, the lie of the Big Bang, the lie of the spherical earth that spins 1,000 miles an hour. And these are all lies to detach people from the reality that we were created by a God and we were created solely to worship that God. And if you worship that God, live in harmony with his laws, this would be a utopia. It would be like the Garden of Eden. There would be no sin on this earth. But that's never going to happen. But what I'm telling you is they're hiding the truth. And they're even making people believe that the truth doesn't matter. And let me reference what you just said. You just said, I don't care if the earth is flat or spherical. Okay, they have convinced you that truth does not matter. I live my life according to what I believe is true or untrue. Truth matters to me. I value truth. I want all my beliefs to be true and none of them to be untrue. I don't want to believe in one single thing that is untrue. Truth matters to me. They've actually convinced people that truth does not matter. And you sit here and say it yourself, well, it doesn't matter to me if it's flat or round. It does to me because a round earth is not biblical. A flat earth that has a firmament over it indicates that the Bible is correct, just like it's correct in Sodom and Gomorrah. They found Sodom and Gomorrah. They unburied it. And they found all the just burnt beyond belief artifacts there that prove that Sodom and Gomorrah existed and it was destroyed, just like the Bible said. The flood, there's all sorts of evidence that this world was flooded, just like the Bible said. The Euphrates River is dry. The army of 200 million comes from the east. They even told you the direction that the 200 million were coming from. I'm telling you, brother, the truth matters.
It's Bible, the Chinese. They're coming for us. Listen, Bryce, I would love to have this discussion all day long. I will. Let's end on this, and then I want to know about your fight this weekend. Can we talk a little MMA in a second, brother?
I was gonna. I don't know. I don't know how to turn it. Like, because I want to keep going with this conversation, but I know how badly everyone wants to hear you talk about your fight, and I know that we end up in this position where all the three of us and everyone in this sport, we do MMA, but really we have a lot of other passions and things that we care about, and MMA is just the reason people pay attention to us. So exactly. Before we end the conversation, we got to talk about that thing. I think that's where Bisping is going.
Yeah, of course. And just on that, and of course, respect your opinions and your views, and you know, and that's why I allowed you to speak so freely. But there's a lot of people. I'll say this part, and I want to hear your rebuttal to it. Of course, there's a lot of people with a lot of passionate beliefs. There's a lot of many different religions that believe in many, many different things, and they are just as passionate about their beliefs as what you are on your beliefs. So, what makes you so sure that your version of events is worth more than the opinion of, let's just say, a Muslim or something like that? What makes your version the correct version?
Go read the Quran. You'll see Jesus's name over and over and over and over. Every single Muslim believes in the man named Jesus. You know how many times Muhammad is mentioned in the Bible? None. You know how many times Jesus is mentioned in the Quran? A lot. Too many to count, buddy. I'm telling you right now, everybody knows that there was a guy named Jesus. He existed. He died on the cross, and hundreds of people saw him come back to life. You cannot deny it. You can say they were delusional. You can say what you want, but every single person that studies history knows there was a guy named Jesus. He died on the cross, and 100+ witnesses saw him walk back 3 days later with holes in his hands. You cannot deny those facts. You can say that those people are delusional, but hundreds of people witnessed it. And that's the difference in the Quran and the Bible. The Bible don't talk about Muhammad. The Quran talks about Jesus. That's the difference, brother.
We'll end it there, because I could say that hundreds of people believed in tons of cult-like figures and all kinds of stuff. But listen, we could go on all day, Bryce, and I really would
Muslims,
like to.
Though. I love Muslims.
Of course.
I love Muslims.
Inshallah.
I'm not saying that.
You know, I know you're not. I know you're not. No, I know you're not.
They're the closest things to Christian besides Christians. Actually, all Muslims believe in Jesus. All Muslims believe in Jesus.
Example then. I should have said some fucking. Should have said a different religion. I'm not a religious guy. Anyway, how about that fucking Dan Ige?
How about that fucking Dan Ige? How about that Dan Ige?
Man, that's going to be a great fight. We're going to make history.
Segue of the year.
Yeah, the segue of the year. I don't know how to turn it, so I'm just going to turn the fucking bus, Bryce. How do you feel about Dan Ige?
I feel great. And if we could ever do an in-studio interview where I could sit down with you guys and show you demonstrations, I would literally prove in about an hour that the earth is flat. You would have no counter argument.
All right.
Because I would be showing you demonstrations.
I think after this is over, we should schedule
one condition. This is something that you're very passionate about. That obviously you've read up on a lot. You've studied it. You've researched it, and all the rest of it. You could say that I'm the fool and I'm the sheep and all the rest of it, and I haven't done that. Right? No. I don't mean, I don't mean from an insulting perspective, because I haven't spent a lifetime trying to defeat your argument. So let's do that. But I'll also bring in an expert that believes on the other side, because I'm just a knucklehead that got hit in the head for a living.
I will bat this dumbass trailer trash fool from Arkansas will make your expert look like an idiot. He will not be able to defend one of my arguments. In the name of Jesus Christ, I will strike him down with logic.
And then after after it's over, we'll do some.
Every angel in heaven will rejoice, because I will speak the truth in the presence of this expert.
All right. Well, then after that, we'll do some jujitsu and talk cattle.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh God.
So
dear.
Where to go? I don't even know where to go.
Hey, man, Dan Ige is a hell of a fight, man. It's going to be a very tough fight. Nobody's ever finished Dan Ige, and I'm ready to make history.
Where'd you train for this fight at?
Go ahead, Anthony.
Sorry, Mike.
No, my bad.
It was all in Arkansas.
You did the whole thing at home?
Yes, sir.
Well, I like how you seem very proud of that. Like,
I built that gym from nothing, brother. When I moved out into my place, it was nothing but cows and cow shit everywhere, and it was just open pasture is what it was. And I turned it into I've got a gym there, I've got a trailer there, I'm building a house, I'm building barns and sheds and chicken coops, and I'm just really proud of what little I've done. And I'm not satisfied, though. I've got a lot more work to do.
We were talking about this earlier, the fighter meetings for this weekend. Can we just touch real quickly on the Ilia Topuria fight? You were saying that wasn't necessarily you in there. You were injured, you were out of shape, et cetera, et cetera. Can you just elaborate on that for the viewers listening?
Yeah, I shouldn't have been in there. And hell, if I was 100% healthy, Ilia would have been a hard fight. You know what I mean? And I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm not trying to make excuses. I don't think it's an excuse if it's a fact. And I'm telling you, the fact is I was throwing up on Wednesday. I was throwing up from Saturday to Wednesday, throwing up. Couldn't hold down food, couldn't get up. On Saturday and Sunday, I couldn't walk. I couldn't get out of bed. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I finally started walking, but I was still throwing up on Wednesday. And then I cut 20 pounds on Thursday, weighed in on Friday, and fought on Saturday, because sometimes I just don't give a fuck. And and now I give a fuck. I've changed my approach. I will never fight that sick again, and I shouldn't have been in there. And I really deserved that ass whooping for even thinking that I could compete at a high level while I was that sick. And I apologized to the fans multiple times. I'd never been that sick before and tried to fight that sick. I had no clue that I was going to go out there and didn't even have one good round in me. And, dude, it just felt terrible. I felt like I was dying halfway through the first round.
So now you have a kind of a shot at redemption, right? You go in there, remind people what you're really capable of, because you know how the sport is. We only remember what we've seen last.
Yeah.
Not everyone's analyst like Mike and I. We look back at your entire career and your body of work and see what you can do. So you go in there. We'll just assume that you win, right? Just for the conversation. What do you want to do next? Because it seems like here's what happens. Because even me trying to get a hold of you, there's been other times I've wanted to talk to you and get your thoughts on fights and stuff. You pop up fight week, we get you for a little bit, you fight, and then you go off the grid again. So and then we don't see you for a little while. You don't fight that often. So what's your plan post fight? Is there a name? Is there a position? Is there a person? Are you gonna hang out and come do this in person in studio interview with us?
We're going to war.
Well, my plan is after this fight, after this big win, I want to sit down with Dana and I want to explain to him how I'm the new cash cow. And there's nobody that can generate the amount of pay-per-views that I can. I can have the whole South buying these huge pay-per-views. And I want to tell Dana that I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to be given my opportunity at the top 5, the top 3, the top 2. When I got my first top 10 victory, it was so dominant. I only got punched about 3 times, and I beat the top 10 guy, this killer, Edson Barbosa. And then I fucking went backwards in the ranks. And I don't want that to happen in this fight. I want to tell Dana how ready I am to fight for the top 5, top 3, top 2, top 1. And if somebody was hurt and they needed an opponent for Volkanovski, I'm the guy. I'm the cash cow. I will bring all the numbers. And I just want – my plan is I don't know who I'm going to fight specifically, but I just want to talk to Dana, and I want to tell him that that I'm ready for an opportunity, and I'll do whatever I have to do for him to give me the opportunity, because I know he doesn't just hand out shit for free. But I'm going to explain to Dana that I'm ready to work, and I'm ready to be told what to do, and hopefully I'll get to talk to Dana after this fight about all that.
Well, he'd love to hear all of that because he loves guys that like to fight, and you like to fight, and we like to watch you fight.
Cash cows.
Loves
he
loves
likes
a
money
cash cow.
too. He likes money too.
That cow better not be getting fucking fed whatever the fuck it is. Soybeans, GMOs, none of that shit. I don't like those cash cows.
No Roundup.
Can you clear something up for me, Bryce? Clear something up. So after you left the fighter meeting earlier, me and Dominic Cruz, and it always kind of turned into a heated debate with me and Dominic. I love him. He's great, but, you know, we were having a discussion. We had a disagreement. He swears that your record is 15-2. And I'm like, no, his record's 15-1. The Brad Katona fight was an exhibition match on The Ultimate Fighter. So in your mind, who's correct? 15-1 or 15-2?
You should be correct. You should be. Because I was on The Ultimate Fighter, and it was not the finale. It was in-house fights, and those should count as exhibitions. Now, if you wanted to count my exhibition loss and say I'm 15-2, you better count my exhibition win the week before, and I better be 16-2, you motherfuckers. Don't just count the loss and not count my win. I don't care if I'm...
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I fought the week before, and you don't want to count that because I won? You just want to count the one that I lost?
If that's not in the post-fight interview after you win,
hey.
That's gotta be.
Hey, I'm all about it. The rapture's coming. The earth is flat. Because I just got an extra two. I just got an extra 2 fucking wins. My record is now 41 and something. I don't even know what my record is, but I've got 2 extra fucking wins on there. Let's go. Yeehaw! Buckle up, get your shit kickers. Let's go. The earth is flat, and no one's going to the moon.
There we go.
Yes, brother. Yes,
hell
brother.
yeah.
Bryce.
Now we're on the same page.
Hey, thank you for your time, Bryce. You're a great man. You're a fantastic fighter. We love watching you operate. All the best this weekend. Really appreciate your time there, brother, because I know you're cutting weight. You know what I mean? You got a lot of stress on your plate. You took some time out. We had a great discussion. Thank you. And we would love to do that in person sometime.
For sure.
We really would.
Man, this actually helped me cut the weight because I forgot completely about how hungry I am. And I'm just full of energy now. And God bless you guys. I love you guys. I'm looking forward to our in-studio version.
Yes,
so
sir.
I can prove the experts wrong.
Ooh.
And thank you for your time. It's always an honor. Appreciate you guys.
Bryce, I know you're hard to get a hold of. I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, and good luck on Saturday.
Hey, the honor is mine. Thank you, guys.
Last thing. If you ever want another distraction when you're cutting weight, you won't like this. But it's true. It kind of just happened organically, but my jiu-jitsu coach used to give me a foot massage when I was cutting weight, and I forgot I was cutting weight. I was just enjoying the foot massage. So I don't know who's driving the car right now, but get your shoes off.
Oh my God, I know. I love him.
Get your hands dirty. Bryce needs a foot massage right now, and if you're a good teammate, nice and firm, right. Nice and firm.
Hey, you start massaging Bryce's feet, you better show up for my next weight cut.
All right, I got you, bro.
Take it easy, Bryce. All the best.
Take care, Bryce.
God bless, guys.
Love you,
Take
brother.
care.